Bob. I'm your host, Ed.
They missed that first part. It's all right. That's how we start. Yeah, that's how we do it.
So hello and welcome to Griefers Pub. I'm Dad. This is Elder G42. Is that your name?
Yeah, that's my name for now.
Yeah.
Actually, it's Elder Relic 388 now, but
Yep.
we will update the panel coming soon.
Okay, so tonight we're going to be discussing the recent changes made to missiles and torpedoes. And man, as of the last update in 4.0, torps and missiles no longer restock. This is kind of, catch up on what's going on. And that means that every ship claim that you do, you no longer have like a full, volley of missiles to shuffle at your opponent. It's interesting. So with that being said, it also brings into question how the increased prices of ship ordnance will impact gameplay. Hey, do you mind if we check that out, Elder? Is that cool? Can we do that?
I think honestly, I don't think tonight's the night. I think we should just call it off.
All right, we'll see you guys later. It's been fun.
Later, guys. All right, so have a good night. Let me cue the music now. There you go. Here it comes. Sorry. All right.
So we have
07.
07.
Yeah.
So we have the patch notes from 4.0 here. In the entire patch notes, I'm noticing one thing. If you do a quick search, just look through the entire thing. There's not even a single mentioning of the missiles, which is interesting to me. I wonder if they did that intentionally because they knew that there was going to be a little bit of pushback. See, search, nothing there. So looking through like all the known issues and stuff like that, hey, that's fine. And then we go over to the testing chat. This is what they posted shortly after. Wikipedia says, if you can't read that, let me zoom in really quick. What should be happening right now?
That's like perfect. That's solid, actually.
Missiles should spawn when you first get the ship at your home location for the first time. But reclaiming your ship won't give back missile stock. Just had this discussion late yesterday with the team. There was actually something else I think he had mentioned where it was intentional. I'm trying to remember. Do you guys remember by any chance? Or do you remember, Elder? I mean, no hints or anything like that.
Oh, what?
Do you remember? Oh, here it is. I found it. 1 second. I'm going to share this tab instead. Yes, it is intended to not give missiles back when insurance claiming a ship in 4.0. So
I feel like that deserves an air horn.
I think it's maybe look at this. You got like celebration. You've got thumbs up. You've got hearts. And then you've got like face palming. So do you think that the community is a little mixed on this? Or do you think that everybody's on board with that? Just do it.
So I already did it. It's done. I feel like it should be more of like an announcement, though. No missiles.
It reminds me of a previous patch when missiles weren't working for a whole 2 or 3 days.
Oh, that was the best patch. I remember that.
Best patch. Even though it was like 2 or 3 days, it was hands down the best patch.
Mm-hmm.
But so key factors, takeaways from this is missiles and torps will spawn on the first, claim of the ship. After that, anything after will need to be restocked. Munition prices also were increased in the last patch, right? Which is interesting. And then there's no mention of this in the patch notes. So that's pretty much like all I've got to say there. Do you think CIG is making the right choice here, Elder?
I
think we're celebrating.
I do. 100. Yeah. With what else we got? All right.
Like my personal views on that. So
yeah, I mean, no. I honestly, I think it's going to be great for the game, and the fact that if you use up all your missiles and then you log off and you leave your ship somewhere, oops, you know what I mean? Because you got to claim it.
Too bad.
Yep, yeah,
pretty much.
I mean, it needs to be like that. I think it's a positive move in the right direction to be able to help with like balancing. Right, it's going to stimulate an actual economy. It gives a reason to have an economy. I think so. I think all around it's a good idea. I know people hate it, and I know. Well, I guess we'll get on that.
Are you sure? I mean, how has the community responded to these changes? I'm assuming it's going to be a level-headed and understanding response, right? I mean, how else would you? I mean, come on, let's be real. I mean, it wouldn't be anything like crazy, like
negative. No,
negative. Nothing. Claiming a ship no longer will restock missiles back. Cart before the horse. 4.0. I'm sure it's fine. That's just like one view. At 12:05, Polaris and Retaliator is officially announced dead. Again, just Can't be like anything like up there.
R.I.P.
Rip
Polaris.
4.0. Okay. Let's see. The economy of this game is incredible.
Wait, is that positive? That's actually
I think
positive?
yeah, that might be. We'll come back to that one. What about this one? 2.5K for size 1 missile. Okay.
Oh, is that
We'll come
it?
back to the rest of
That's not even
Yeah,
bad.
I'm sure. I mean,
Wait,
it's
wait,
one
wait,
of, like,
wait. Is
10.
that supposed to be 25K? Did they make a mistake? Or is that 2.5K? It's 2.5K.
I think
right?
it was a mistake. It's got to be a mistake, right?
Does anybody know what the
yeah.
missile cost is going to be for a size 1? I wonder.
I wish we had an expert. Anyways, so here's the first one that I remember seeing. One of our guys posted this, and they were talking about this. Claiming a ship no longer will give missiles back, cart before the horse. So their arguments were ship randomly despawning, docking issues, missile management, server errors. Do you think it's too early to implement something like this, or do you think it's just prepping up people for what to expect when
I don't. I definitely don't think it's too early, because honestly, it's like one of the things you don't have issue with losing. Well, I guess it depends, but you don't have an issue like losing ships normally, right? Okay, well, okay. So if the server crashes, this should be 30K recovery, right? Which means your ship will still be with you.
Yep, you get like all your stock back, right?
That shouldn't be a problem. You'll be with it, right? If there's a, yeah, I don't think it's too early. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. The game, I think the game has been stable enough for that. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And they did come up with a solution anyway, where it was like 30K crash recovery, right? What?
I'm just looking.
Look at the baby bottle. I love it. The clown face and the baby bottle.
It's beautiful. Oh, hey, look at this. There's a familiar name, Nolat.
104
Nolat
upvotes. Okay.
I have to say, oh yeah. Look at that. I think he might
holy
have some
shit,
like good points.
How did I get here?
How did you get here? Hey, what's up, Nolat? How you doing?
Oh, hey, yo, what's going on, guys?
So it says here that you said, I have to say, I'm happy about this change. Missile spamming. How about, you know what? You should read your own post. Can you read your own post? I think it's a little bit more genuine if you read it for yourself.
Oh, sure. All right. Sounds good. All right. I have to say, I'm very happy about this change. Missile spamming has been out of control with no repercussions. CIG changed the price of all ordnance, and it would be completely meaningless if you just ended up getting the stuff back on claim. Do I think it's perfect? Actually, yes. No. The prices have to be adjusted. We can get more granularity and rearm as part of the MOBI, so that you can rearm like your Psy-6 guns on your Polaris instead of spending 14 million on torps. You can't even put missiles out of a box. You know, if you like store them in a box and you try to take them out, it says you can't do that. Maybe because when you do that, you start throwing missiles all over the ground, and then you can't get to the ASOP. But I wouldn't know nothing about that. Anyways, just you know what? These guys, I swear, like they really gotta like put some pants on. You know, the excuses are always like the game's buggy. I lose it from bugs, bro. It's StarCitizen. How long you been playing, right? And then like you're just clearly ignoring an economic movement. Think about it, right? Like they just up the price of torps missiles and all that stuff. Like it's literally like it means nothing unless you're going to pay for it. What do you want to pay like you know, a little bit to change your torps or missiles and get them back immediately? It's ridiculous. And then you hear people talking about mission rewards and they're too low profit. It's like, what are you, just missile spamming everything?
Yeah, probably. I mean, there have been plenty of people I know that showed up at retaliators or something, just blow the ships up with missiles and then just fly away, make quick money. So
yeah, what are you gonna do your Aurora VLRT with size 10 torps? It's not 500K, so.
So my like, why are players so upset? Do you think it's because we have this like min-max culture ingrained in StarCitizen? So when people's meta changes, they get like mad because there goes my moneymaker, right? Do you think that's the case, or what?
How many times have you had like you gone to do a bounty or something, and you or like you're the bounty and someone comes up to you and the first thing you hear is that missile beep? Yeah. You know they're just going to spam everything they have and then run away. That's what they're going to do.
If I can jump on that, actually, the game is more broken in a sense where it's too broken for missiles not to be costly. Does that make sense? Because how many times have you tried to decoy missiles and they just don't work because of server performance, right?
Yeah.
Like, so to me, it makes more sense for people to use them more sparingly anyway, right? They don't want to just waste them. Also, Space Ghost actually posted the prices. I guess this
He
is
did,
post
yeah.
post
I was gonna wait
4.0,
until you
right?
were ready to
So
look at that.
2.6K, that's not bad at all. Like, that's not crazy. 3.2K, that's not crazy. Dominators 4.8K. None of that is like unbelievable. So better believe we'll still probably get quite a bit of small missile spans, right?
So
like,
one thing I expect though is that the torpedo burritos need to increase in price, and same with t-shirts, right? Those need to be a lot more
torpedo
expensive.
burritos, yeah.
You know,
No,
Yeah, I don't know if you
100%.
remember the last one. Like it
Mhm.
was 59 AUEC for a task force, which you got free,
Mhm.
and a
Yep.
t-shirt was 840 credits. What's the point? I mean, what's the
Yeah.
point of that?
Just throw t-shirts at your enemy. It's a lot more effective, right? Is that?
Well,
That's
it's
what I'm
much
hearing?
more expensive. I can tell you that.
I mean, torps really, realistically, really should be very expensive. Then, I mean, I know that it is semi easy to defend against them, unless you're doing what we did like a week ago, and we just basically blind firing them from like 300 clicks. Not 300,
Mhm.
300 clicks. Oh my goodness, 300 meters. Not even. That was fun,
Yep.
by the way. I gotta say, the Polaris v Polaris gameplay has been a blast. I've been having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some of the pros and cons then of the new munition like spawn and price changes? What do you guys think? I'm gonna
A money
post
sink.
that.
That's honestly
sink?
been we've never had a money sink. How many times have you been a billionaire and just sat there? Even if you're a millionaire, you don't care.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
literally battlefield. You get into the game, you die. You're like, oh well, I guess I'm gonna get my missile spammer back immediately and just fly back and shoot them.
Yeah, you just spawn your Firebird in, or you claim your Firebird. It's 6 minutes, maybe 8 minutes. I forget what the claim times are, and then you're right back into the action doing the same damn thing. Right? There's no value for your like time. There's no strategy behind it. It just it promotes like lazy tactics for fights. Just
Yeah.
overall, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
you know what
interesting.
else?
Mhm.
Honestly, you hear all the time like, hey, cap ships, they're going to be expensive to run. You're
Mhm.
not going to just pull them out anytime at all. And then it's like, okay, well now it costs 14 million to rearm. They're like, what? Oh no, the Polaris is dead.
That's it, Polaris. You
Oh,
might as
I
well
can
sell
actually
it.
bring. Hang on. Where was that? At yeah. At 12/05/2024, Polaris and Retaliator is officially announced dead.
It's so funny.
I gotta say, like, at least we're earning keys this week. That's one of the like huge,
Oh, man.
positives. It's been just like easy for getting that with the 388 Discord. So I'm loving that.
Like, honestly, what are they expecting? You just think you're going to like insurance scam forever? Like, oh man, let me just get some more torps. Like
Mhm.
that's not what this game should really be about. You should be afraid. It should be like, I'm not saying like we're making Tarkov here, but like
Yeah.
you should be afraid to take your stuff out. There should be more repercussions.
Well, I think
You should.
I was gonna say, I think kind of say jumping on that. So I think with also 4.0 being released as well, which is obviously coming very, very soon, sooner than
we're
I
already in like
anticipated.
what wave two? Wave two
Yeah.
announced last night.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming
so,
before Christmas for real.
You think
Yeah,
so?
which I can't believe.
Man.
But so I think with 4.0 coming, the size of the verse, the amount of like places to actually fuel up and things like that, on top of that, with the cost of missiles, I think it's going to be a very positive change in the game anyway, because you're going to think if we come across another group and we're out somewhere in Pyro and we fight, there's no immediate returns of like a bunch of light fighters or missile boats to continue forever the fight, right? So I think that also is a very positive thing. It's like you'll probably know who's actually won that fight or not, and to the victor goes the spoils, right? Maybe we can start collecting some missiles, So I like it. I think it's awesome.
I
think
like
it creates
I
an
think
economy too. It really does.
there could be
Yeah, it's
maybe
the start
some
of an
like
economy.
fine tuning could be done, because I'm looking at the prices. Actually, Space Ghost was nice enough to post that. Some of these I don't disagree with. The Polaris torps could maybe be reduced, and same with the like size 9s and a few of the other ones, but like 2.6K, it should be costly. Like war is not supposed to be cheap, right?
Exactly.
So coming from that,
you-
like perspective, I think it's a welcome change.
You know what? I got to play a little bit of devil's advocate to myself here, which I hate to do, but there are some really good points in that, you know, maybe the prices are a little too high. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying maybe a little bit of an adjustment would be good because
Right.
we've been living in a missile economy that's been free. And I think it might be okay to reduce it just a little bit. I'm not saying cut it in half or anything, just like
No.
maybe reduce it a bit. And I mean, there's other good points too, like, you know, that we don't really have the granularity in the VMA to properly say, okay, I want these to be restocked and these not to be restocked. I want to take this off. The rearming is really clunky. I was doing some of that today, like rearming torps and like stealing torps from somebody. And I'm sorry, reacquiring. And you actually have to unlock the ports to even install them. So it's a bit of a pain in the ass. So I mean, but I still don't think that this should be a reason for us to say, no, let's just go back to the way we were. Because if we're going to do that, then we're never going to be able to get this economy going. And the economy is what makes this game run.
Yep.
Well, consider this, though. The way that it's also going to help jumpstart an economy, a player-driven economy, is, okay, it's 500,000 a torp, right? Or something. So imagine there now is a black market, and to those who have been stockpiling them, right, through, I'm sure, illegal means, of course.
Clearly.
Clearly. Maybe we're selling them for 250 a torp, right? So who's not going to want to take such a huge discount? Now it's creating an economy. So I personally think it's a very positive change. Sure. Like, okay, maybe lower the cost a little bit to make it a little more realistic, I suppose, but you don't want it to be something that people are just like, oh, reclaim my ship full of torps, right? There was never a reason for somebody to have to restock their A2 when they're starting a new session, because they could just literally insurance claim it before they get off. Next time they're on, they have a fully stocked A2. Well, now that's not the case. Now, think of this. I think, I'm sorry, I know you guys probably have stuff to say, but I think also some of the, I'll say, PvE or less aggressive players, like people who are doing events.
Bobs.
You can see Bob's. It's okay.
I was trying to be nice. So I think they're going to appreciate this, because what does this also do? What it does is it discourages Griffinet to just overplay their hand when it comes to using some of these things, because they need to also. It might discourage a little bit.
I think you know, that's going to be the reason why they grind for credits in the first place. They're just going to use that for like rearming and then getting right to the business, because they have their own priorities.
Okay, but it
I'm
might.
not for that.
It needs to be expensive, right? Because they can't just show up and like easily be. And and the other thing too, and Pyro is very large, so it's, you know, if Griffinet has to make quite a journey to get to you. I don't know. Just a thought. Maybe it might. So
I was going to say a few positives that I really like is the big one that we're like interested in the room, as you know, Jared would say, less cases of missile spam is a huge part of that. I'm looking forward to actually being able to, like, you know, roll in an interdiction vehicle and not be focused on with nothing but, you know, task forces and everything else, because people might think about what they're using their, you know, like ordinance on at that point. I also think it brings more value to the munitions, which is going to promote, you know, anything from player economy, people actually taking the time to salvage components that are now worth the time to sell on, like, say, a black market. And then, you know, this is pure speculation, but I think it might also promote like crafting in like weapons manufacturing.
100%.
We don't have that yet, but I think that's the intent. In, you know, like a lot of games, MMOs, whatever it might be, everything should be, you know, super expensive, right? And I have a feeling that there might be a chance that they're going to make it so you can craft all this stuff. You're going to have to find the blueprints, and they're going to make this, you know, crafting is going to be a huge part of the StarCitizen economy. And
the player
I just foresee that being
too.
valuable. Player
Like,
economy, especially. Yeah.
If you look at the last things that CIG has said, they've now been really pushing the player economy. I mean, look at what Rich Tyrer said about having to tow back a ship so that you can repair it. Nobody's towing back shit right now. They don't.
Why would they? Where would they?
Yeah. It's just, I'll just insurance.
There's
it,
no
you know?
value.
It's almost like, you know, you would go park your car in Walmart, go walk to Walmart and just claim it so you don't have to walk to it. It's ridiculous.
Pretty much.
Because that I wish that was a thing, honestly, but whatever. Sounds pretty good. Oh, I'm gonna reclaim my Lamborghini now.
Mhm.
Yeah, I should get it for free, right?
Yeah.
No,
Increases really
everything
quick.
has been
Hang on.
going more and more towards a player economy, and the crafting, being able to gather the resources and all that stuff. I think it's going to dovetail really nicely. I think the time is now to make them more expensive, to make you think about it.
Yeah.
And maybe we could even make them a little more deadly, because
Yeah.
honestly, they've been either useless or like ungodly. And I think we could probably have a middle ground there. So,
Well, I think, I mean, that really has to be, you really have to look at can we get the server stability for everything to function the way it needs to? Like, that's important. So, okay, all right. Well, we can't. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Do you guys want to read some more arguments here about
please.
why this is okay? So this is hang on.
What the hell?
Freak reply.
Oh, I wonder what that reply is. I'm interested in that.
Should we check that out? We should check that out. I'm not sure what it is.
No, yeah. Let's read it. Go ahead.
Never mind. I know what it is. So RIP Polaris in 4.0. So there is no point in owning a Polaris in 4.0 since it takes 14 million to resupply all missiles.
Is that what it
torpedoes.
costs? Wait, can I ask? I'm sorry, before you continue. How many missiles are on a Polaris?
There's 20, right?
I think it's 28, but I thought they brought it to 32 for some reason.
Of what size?
Size 10s.
Size
32.
10. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, all right, I'm listening.
Mm-hmm. And you still can't remove the garbage bespoke cannons, but it's basically an 890 with more guns.
I'm sorry, did he call them garbage?
He called them garbage. Those ballistics,
this man's on crack.
Slap. They're good. You know, I'm just saying.
And they do component damage if they're ballistics, right?
Yep.
So
100%.
They're doing component damage through a ship. So let's say you're getting attacked by I don't know, EMP ship that's attacking your fleet, I should say, right? So you got like a Raven or something. Those ballistics actually penetrate the shield and will damage the EMP.
Yep. Same with like interdiction vehicles as well, which is really handy. So at this point, the game is cooked since no one can afford to repair or resupply ships with the pennies you make doing missions. Everything mission will cost more in cost than it pays. This is not English. So you're better off just staying in the station and ships stored, or just self-destruct them with you in it to gain a little profit.
Bro, just uninstall. Seriously.
Just, yeah.
Well, here's the thing about this
before
too.
I could.
Yeah, so here's the thing. He says, okay, since no one can afford to repair or resupply ships with the pennies you make doing missions. So the games, from my understanding,
point there.
Well, hold on. Let me say what I'm going to say. But the game's intention isn't for you to drive your whole economy just off of missions, right? You also should be doing things like either pirating. You should be doing pirating. 100% recommended. Yeah, piracy. You should be doing cargo running. You should be doing mining, right? There's a number of things that will make you actually decent money. And on top of that, the people who are focused purely on missions aren't going to probably spend a whole lot of time using missiles and stuff like that, because from the way I'm taking it, it seems like it's meant more for like player-to-player interaction, right? You need like powerful guns for this. Yeah. So I don't know. And on top of that, you got to think too, if you're out doing like PvE stuff, are you not fighting other large ships? Can you not like soft death them and take their missiles? Is that not a thing?
You certainly can.
So to me, it feels like a positive step in the right direction. I love the face palm, the baby bottle, the clown face. The baby bottle is my favorite.
Playing devil's advocate, what are some of the cons to the change in value and the ship claim stuff? So I know inflated prices means less missile boats. So it makes me question like a ship's role, such as like, we don't need more dead ships in the verse is what I'm trying to think. And it sucks when ships like, say, the Eclipse and, say, the Firebird don't have a purpose on the field, you know? It makes, jobs for, like, certain orgs like Vanguard very hard to, like, do. You know what I mean?
Well,
speaking of which, hey, how's it going, Cold Kill?
Man.
Hey, pretty good, guys.
Cold
Good to see you,
kill.
dude.
Did they kidnap you too?
Nope, no kidnapping. I see. I still have ram tags over here. What's up with that?
Let's fix that.
Yeah,
So
we could.
we're just discussing some of the pros and cons of the like new munition spawn and change of the prices. So do you have like any like feedback on that? What are you thinking?
I think it's great. I think that it was kind of absurd that, you could get a weapon that could shoot down another ship for the price of a 6-pack of hot dogs. Doesn't make any sense at all. Like we can all agree that that's just wild. So I think everyone knew this was coming at some point. I'm really glad to see that it's here. And honestly, I would really like to see those systems get built out more than they currently are. I think that the current missile gameplay and torp gameplay it's really boring, and it's not deep at all. And
well, I
price
think
is obviously a great place to start.
yeah.
But I hope that they give the whole system, more love than it just turns into a like a resource pissing match, right?
Mhm.
I think
That's a
I
good
think
point.
I think also people will be more like aware of like so as before it was just basically just fire them all and hopefully it hits, right? And now it's going to be
Right.
more strategic, right? It's
Yeah, for sure.
you don't want to take on that risk or that loss unless it's for a very good reason, right? So which you want. I mean, it just makes sense. You don't want to be just out, just spamming out your missiles and hoping they hit and not caring if you lose them, right?
You know what though? I
What's
think that there is room for a little bit of resource pissing too. Because imagine the statement of bringing out a Polaris fully stocked and ready to go. Like that's a statement. That's a good place for end game stuff.
Or
we
is
might
it
we might see
you
less of
pinning
that
yourself as
too.
a target? You might be pinning yourself as a target for like say piracy orgs that want those munitions for themselves.
Yeah. Gimme, right?
It goes both ways. But yeah, definitely give me. There was actually something one of our guys had brought up that I think was a really good point, like stockpiling munitions from like, salvage ships or anything from that matter becomes more of an org priority, which I really like because then it creates those opportunities for like piracy and trade, like it's going to create like a living ecosystem. That was actually Bishop's idea.
I'm sorry, I like
He
this.
brought that
Bishop.
one up.
God forbid anybody should have to think.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good point.
That's
No
great.
kidding. I do know that there are some cons that come behind this. The inflated prices means less missile boats. The roles on the field, like if you guys had to say, like, how should missiles be used in fleet composition and combat? I'd beyond like missile spam. Say that we don't have unlimited resources. In which cases would you be using the missiles most for like
I
capital
could
ships?
I could tell you
Yeah.
how I use them now. I don't
Let's hear
want
it.
to spam them at people because now they do have with master modes, they have situational uses. And that's to counter nav mode, right?
Mhm.
So if I'm on a target with another player and we're 2v1ing him, what's he
Yeah.
going to do? He's going to go into nav mode and likely try to disengage that. When we see that, and we can see when someone goes into nav mode, right? You have their emissions, they drop shields, if you're just looking at their speed, it goes up tremendously, right?
Yeah.
As they do that, one person, they actually start backing up from the target to create distance to get to that minimum lock range as fast as possible, because the quicker you get that missile off, the quicker you pressure them to get back into SCM so they can access their countermeasures. The other person continues the chase in nav mode themselves and can freely merge onto that person who's trying to use nav mode to escape. And that person that's trying to run away, they're put into a pickle. Do I pray and tank this missile and continue double down on my escape, or do I go switch back to my countermeasures and there's still another guy on you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
good point.
Right. But people are going to be more conservative about firing them off when doing that. It's just going
Yeah, if it costs more money, now you have to consider, do I let this guy get away or does he not matter, right?
Yeah,
if you're
because
fighting
more
if you're
decision
fighting a
making,
group that has, 2 good pilots and some decent guy is navving away,
Yeah.
don't care. Let him go away. But
Yeah, you have to consider winning a
their
fight.
leader is going away. That guy is worth the missile. He's
Yeah,
worth the
and
resource.
and you certainly have to consider that winning a fight doesn't necessarily mean killing the target, but rather removing them from the fight.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's all around just positive. Go ahead.
There's another part that I like to use missiles for, and that's for example, when you're fighting a Polaris and you have things like task forces, you can dumbfire them in a very specific way to knock out their power plant and stuff. So I think there's still some use cases for them, but again, we're going to be thinking a lot better of, are we going to take them? Are we going to stock them? Are we going to bring them? Because it's expensive.
Well, also
Especially in
dumbfiring
pyro.
to remove the PDCs.
Can you imagine like losing all of your missile power or like missile firepower while in pyro, where restocking is almost non-existent beyond, you know, salvaging from like other ships? It's going to change the game drastically. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great. It's going to be more survival based in that regard, you know.
Yeah,
But
I think orgs that want to have them will likely just be procuring them in mass and bringing them across the jump point to use for operations where they're committing force to an objective. Like say you want to hold an area hostage or on lockdown, you could bring yourself with fighters like I like the Fury snub fighter, the Arrow. They fit really nicely. You can carry a lot of them. It's not that hard to just have a pile of missiles there next to you, and when you land, I'm just gonna attach a few. It's not a big deal, right? And that could give groups with logistics a little bit of extra staying power, where say you push in on a group and it was an unsuccessful push, but you're thinking, all right, at least they've depleted their missiles, or they're running low, right? And then you come back and that's not the case. That could be a pretty big edge.
Yeah.
So you know what I think this is a good time for too? Making the ballista missiles God mode again.
Oh, those were crazy.
I'm curious. And forgive me, this is a dumb question, but I have no idea. Can you choose how many missiles you actually resupply? So if you only want to add one torp, for example, like you only get enough.
No,
money.
you do not have that option. You do not have that option.
You do. It's really super clunky. I did try this where you can actually, first of all, you deliver the ship. You go into the you pull it out, you put it back down, you go into the VMA, you pull the missiles off that you don't want, and then if
manually restock it.
And then if you manually restock it, it'll only be with the ones that you had in the VMA. It's super clunky, and it shouldn't be that way, but it is possible.
Which also brings up another issue of so the ballistics and like any of the missiles munitions are tied to the same restock system. So like say I want to just restock my, ballistics on like the Polaris Bestoke or whatever weapon I might be running on, like say a fighter, it restocks the missiles by default. So it just skyrockets that bill. There's no separation for whatever reason, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, we need that granularity. It's also countermeasures too. If you want your countermeasures back, you're paying the full bill.
How much your countermeasures cost in Pyro?
I mean, countermeasures are like $1, but when you have 24 whatever they are on the Firebird, it's like $180K.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, I love it. This is exciting. I'm loving the prices. Oh, can we bring up another hate post?
Yeah, we could. So this one is by who is this? This is Grumpy Eye Gaming.
Oh man, is he still in the game? Or did
is it Grumpy Eye? Yeah, I think he quit. I heard he's quitting again.
I heard he came back and quitted too.
The economy of this game is incredible. I just want to give some insight to what the game looks like right now and what it will look like in 4.0. The devs have nerfed all the payouts, and most of the missions are still bugged. And an example, if you're trying to do Save Stanton missions and go to the Idris, this is how it'll play out. The payout seems pretty nice, around 500K, but in practice, you don't get more than 40K once you finish it.
Well, I mean, first of all, they've increased all of their missions, by the way. If you look at 4.0, a bounty mission's like 151K now for a player bounty. And I think even the VLRT is like 20K, so they've increased it.
Yeah. So let's take a look. What else did he say? There's literally only way to kill the Idris, which will not take hours to do, and that's to torp it with the Polaris 14 times from point blank
14.
range. I don't know how much they're like aiming there, but it brings that into question,
They're
right?
terrible.
I mean,
So
it does
which will
take
damage
quite a
the
few
Polaris.
torps, but not 14.
Not 14.
Right?
If you like, if you
It takes
aim
like
them
3, and then
correctly,
you go down the ship, and you shoot the guy in the head. Done.
pretty much, yeah. That's how you do it. It's a good strat. And then, so that's 14 times 500K to rearm the Polaris, and around 1.5 mil.
Wait,
to
hold
2.5
on.
mil.
He took his like he amplified the amount, right? Just threw out a number, and then he did
Yep.
math. He attached math to it to make it feel like it was really the problem. That's hilarious. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it was
No, it's
funny to
fine.
me. So his 14 was definitely just like him exaggerating, and he's like,
Yeah.
so it's going to be 14 times 500,000 to rearm the Polaris. That's hilarious. All right, go ahead.
So even if the Idris gave you 500K, you're losing money doing the mission.
Oh, this argument again too. Oh,
and of course, people will
I need to
say
get paid back. Okay.
the way to do it is to kill the support ships and then destroy the PDWs on the Idris. Sure, you can kill the support ships. Good luck shooting the PDWs on the Idris. And even if he did, the mission timer would run out before he did that. So what is profitable? Weevil eggs for sure. They spawn in certain missions and you can buy them on Pyro, but as of last patch, hauling them from Pyro to Stanton will probably cost more than what you can do than what you could earn by doing those missions.
Wait, okay, so hold on.
Weevil
So
eggs did get nerfed. They did.
yeah, but
they did.
so,
They did. Yeah,
but
which
what
is
he's
good.
doing. Hold on, but he's taking information from like Safe Stand, which is a thing that's happening before Pyro, right?
Yeah,
he's taking
this is in the
information
current
about
patch.
he's taking information about the current patch and applying the coming prices to the current patch. It doesn't really make sense because first of all, from my understanding, you're not going to be doing a whole lot of Weevil eggs shipping over in Pyro because there's a lot higher valued items that you can actually run, if I understand correctly, right? Like, so he's taking hypotheticals and applying it to. He's applying two different patches together and saying, "Here's the problem." That doesn't even make any damn sense.
He's taking the worst from each patch and then saying, "Look, I'm right."
Well, I'm trying to create like an argument here. That's what it looks like. Yeah.
The whole argument, in my opinion, is fundamentally flawed because he's talking about a specific niche scenario and only one way of approaching it, and then saying, blah, but my money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You can tackle those missions a whole lot of other ways. If I want to do the Save Stanton Phase 3 mission and I'm by myself, I can dumbfire some much cheaper munitions to an Idris power plant, disable it, fly in the hangar, shoot the guy, and leave. I'm at what, 60, 70K with the new missile prices?
Yep.
The guy's dead. I don't have to blow up this giant behemoth capital
You're
ship.
confusing the situation with facts here.
Oh, my bad.
Okay.
So, there's many ways to skin a cat, and not all are going to be very good. And that's what's good in a game, is people should have multiple ways to approach something. That's why what I love about StarCitizen is the sandbox nature. There's a million ways to do things. They'll all get you the same result, but more efficient, more optimized players, of course, are going to have better profit margins.
Yeah, 100%.
Varthan brings up a good point.
What's that?
Yeah.
So number 4, the TDM grows stronger because Pyro is a much larger playground and QT jumps can last for a long time. So he's just talking about economy, not really about missiles. So we can kind of skip that one.
Yeah, and just to jump on that, I, as a light fighter type player, maybe F7A, whatnot, but like, I actually appreciate the fact that I can't just fly around and freaking, because you got to think about how that's gonna change the scenery when it comes to running into other players as well. And for me, I think it's just a good thing. I like it. I don't know. I like that. I'm sitting here trying to figure out, okay, I can't afford a Polaris. Like, I don't have that kind of money to be buying Polaris. I'm like, okay, so what's going to be my tactic? If I'm out there alone, I'm looking at maybe doing a C2 with a Fury in it. Right. So that way I have like kind of what I need to be able to travel around and kind of like the LF type, fighter, because it's the best I could do. You know, but so I don't, I like it though. I like it, and what it's gonna do too is I'm gonna be on board with maybe the Orc more often, where people are carrying us around with a Polaris. Hopefully, your ship doesn't disappear in Quantum.
Yeah. This is probably my favorite title. Do they want people to stop playing?
I like how you capitalize "want." Do they want people to stop playing?
Seriously, you just sold a $1,000 ship, and days later, you tell people that they can't use it because each torp is 1 million credits.
So all right, that's not true. So there we go.
I mean, this is the kind of thing that trolls say and people just laugh off. Not something CIG actually does. And just to clarify, I haven't used torps or missiles in well over a year. Rather use the guns. Buggy, broken. Only do they seem to hit and do some damage. Still not worth it in my opinion. But the idea is so ridiculous, so counterproductive.
Disagree.
Oh,
Disagree.
what was the first comment?
Missiles and torps were better in previous
Is there
patches.
I can check to see if there's a baby bottle.
You need
yeah,
a baby
there is.
bottle on that.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yep, there you go. Is that better?
The yawn too.
It's much better. Yeah.
The yawn's good. Somebody had a question. Caden's asking, what was the first comment on Grumpy's post? Let me see if I can find that.
No,
again.
we know
I'm not sure
exactly what that was.
I'm not sure what it was. What does it say? Didn't you quit playing this? Great response of. Oh, okay, yeah. So a little bit of back and forth there between friendly. Yep.
Got
All
him.
right.
Why are you complaining about a game you don't play anymore?
That's a fair point. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of pushback currently from the community, just overall as a whole, and some of it I think to a degree is like understandable, but I think we're just being a little dramatic, you know. This says, so I need to clam a Polaris with 0 flight time.
Oh, claim.
Most fun. This might not be the same. Oh, in 4.0, this will cost me 14 mil credits. Thanks to CIG, I hate it and love my new Hanger Queen. Also, I've had this bug at least 7 or 8 times this patch.
I don't know what that
means. There
means.
are some like bugs. I think they might be talking about the bug where you tried to. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it.
No, it's a skill issue.
Good. CIG, what's wrong with you?
Oh, I thought that was Morphologist for a second. It's Morpheus. Damn.
No,
Oh, it's Morphologist. Wait, hold on. Can we reminisce? Can we reminisce on Morphologist and his video about the A2 and how OP it is?
He should be happy now.
And it ruined Jumptown.
He's probably like dancing right now about how great this update is. No, now the A2s can't.
I wonder what his opinion is.
No longer going to have PTSD, right?
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. There's going to be less A2 bombs.
I mean, if you think about it
J2.
too, if you remember that specific situation, he had a bunch of Centurions, and those things are garbage. I don't understand why they do way more damage. It's like there's an A2 coming with 2 size 3 shields. I mean, what are you going to do with a Centurion? Tickle its shields? Maybe try to shoot its bomb?
There weren't many options back then for stopping that A2 before it got to it, other than what we would do, which people figured it out, but what we would do is follow it about 300 meters behind when it drops that bomb, the bomb would take itself out, right? But then people started spamming their noise, and now you can't really see the bomb. It's hard to target it. So, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't a whole lot of options back then, so yeah, it didn't make sense. It was what, 4 size 4s on a Centurion?
Yeah, and they
do
like
they
0
didn't
damage.
touch the shields. Yeah.
I don't understand why they didn't do like 10 times the damage, and then we could actually get some ground gameplay, because now you have to go ground assault the thing to go kill it, right?
I know we're not. That's not like the topic, but I think probably they were meant to work in tandem with the what's the other ships that have torps on them? I mean, not ships. I'm sorry. Not ships.
the ballista?
Ground vehicle. Yeah, the ballista.
Ballistas.
So if you had because one is meant to guard against like smaller ships that are trying to land, stuff like that, right? Trying to get on the ground. And the other's meant to like torp the larger ships that are coming in that you can't get through its shields. Maybe that would make sense. But, you know, people, I don't know. So I guess that's the only thing that makes sense. Yeah.
Like when the ballista was like God mode, I mean, that was the perfect time to have combined arms. And even now with torps costing so much money, it's an even better thing. Like it takes logistics to bring a ballista to an area. You got to put it in, there's like 3 ships that it can go in. So you got to bring it there. And now you could probably have some extra torps there. And if it's God mode torps, what are you going to do? You're going to have to land a tonk there or do some type of ground assault to take it over. I mean, it's a perfect opportunity, but instead, you know, you could just, you know, be in a stealth ship. It'll never see you. You can noise once and just kill it, and there's nothing it can do, right? You
Yeah.
just stand above it and it's dead, and you're right within its now minimum lock range, which is what, like 3 kilometers. So what is it going to do? You're just going to kill it. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. So here's another one: torpedoes and missiles. CIG grief. Yeah, I don't know if I want to read these. I'm sorry, guys. It's pretty much like the same.
He's
deadline.
getting burnt
I can
out.
summarize it for
I am-
you. Wah.
It's pretty much, yeah. I mean, that's. Oh wait, this one doesn't have one yet. Let's fix that.
Oh,
Where's
yeah.
the...
Make sure to put something crying or baby bottle.
Is there a baby bottle there?
You can type in, but yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
He didn't
This
even
one was
read it.
posted,
He
like,
already
recently.
knows.
We know. I'm sorry to say it.
I want to hear Nolat's summarization of it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Wah.
There you go. That was pretty good. So why not the following? If you shoot 5 torpedoes of the 24, you have 19 left. If you get destroyed, you get 19 torpedoes back. No, that's not how claim should
No.
work.
That doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't
No,
make
those
make
torpedoes
no
are
sense.
still out there, ready to be salvaged. Go
You just
fly back
don't
and pick
die.
them up.
Just
Yeah,
don't die.
that's
Just
true.
don't die.
You know what should happen? All of your components should be lost too. All of them.
I think so.
This-
Here's the thing. I
Yep.
think well, that might have been addressed with insurance claim, right? With their plan to do insurance claims, but or with
Yeah.
insurance, LTI and all that stuff. But also I think they had mentioned about like basic components that you can buy at a shop will be replaced, but like if you get like specific components that are like you can't just find at a shop, it doesn't get replaced. Like stuff like that makes sense.
Yeah. This is actually a question that I was going to read off. Is it possible this is how CIG will treat modified ships with insurance in the future? And honestly, I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so.
You should be stocking. You should be having a reason for. They haven't clarified anything, but I would love to see it. And I know that's pure theory crafting. That's why I'm not going too much into that one, right? Because we don't have crafting systems in the game for weapon manufacturing and component manufacturing.
Yeah,
So
think
I think
about
that's
it
a
this
long
way
ways off.
too. Think about again, we're going back to the economy again. If you have
Yep.
let's call it a tier 5 weapon, it took them forever to get the right resources and grade of resources and put it together in blueprints, and you get this gun and you buy it from this person, and then what, you have it forever again? Again, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. That gun has to be lost and you have to go buy it again, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think overall, like this whole thing is basically what I've been like begging for or hoping for a long time. Right.
Mhm.
Or just a reason to have any economy in general. I guess I understand why they didn't do it sooner. But I mean, with the fact that it seems like they got a pretty decent working model of server meshing happening, right? The next thing in line is what higher numbers and then dynamic server meshing, right? But with
Because right
that,
now we
it's a
have
good
static.
time it's a good time for them to start implementing this stuff as well. I mean, we need the economy to work. One of the things that's kind of killed the game for me over the years is the fact that like it really just felt like nothing mattered, nothing actually mattered,
Yeah.
And that's 100% an economy question, right? As soon as we have a reason to log in and a reason to go do missions and money makes sense and money you need, that's when you start having a game that has more staying power. Like, why is Eve so good? Why is that game survived 20 years? It's because of its economy. And I think making the steps towards the economy is very important. And that's why
Yeah.
I think put these prices up. Let's go.
So here's a question that I have, because I don't want to just be talking about the negatives today. What suggestions could give a good balance for missiles and torps in combat? And then on top of that, do you think the price adjustment is enough, or is there something else that CIG could do to add more balance and depth to missile gameplay? It's a loaded question for you guys. So just
I
a
think
lot.
logistically that it's
Mhm.
kind of lame that say you go to one specific station in Stanton and you're like, why are you going there? Because they sell a good missile. I like this missile system. I like the range, the lock times, etc. Right? You find yourself on the other side of the system at some mining outpost. Why do they have every missile known to mankind in stock?
Yeah, that's
That's a
true.
really good
And not
question.
only that, but they certainly need to tie those shops to what's actually sold to them by the players as well.
I agree. I think
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
those pads,
be
those
cool.
stations should have those items in stock if, people are moving them, or if lore wise, like, it's a missile made by a manufacturer that's close with Crusader. Yeah, sure, the Crusader moons carry these, right? But
Yep.
if I'm buying like a Von Duel like type Arrow 1 missile that I know is at Grimhex, like, you mean to tell me that every landing pad has those? I can buy them? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, makes no
it should just be
sense.
out of stock, just not available,
Yeah, that's a good point. And not only that, but that should drive player economy in a sense where
Yeah.
missions pop up where this station is out of this type of missile, whatever company, whatever it may be, and somebody can pick up a mission from that station and supply that station, right? And if that station is like way out, in a distance,
Mhm.
then you get paid more for doing it, maybe, or something like that. Like it could all be tied together very well using a system like that. So that, but yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Like you shouldn't
And
just be
that's
able
where
to
they
go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's where they're going with like resource trading, like the movement of commodities. We
Yeah.
should have the movement of weapons, munitions, that type of stuff as well.
Yeah,
Do you
100%.
guys also suppose that like a lot of those like higher tier missiles, like say, Task Force or EMs, where they're very effective, should be tied behind reputation with certain factions that only have it available in certain systems
I
as
think
an incentive to like
that's a
maybe
good idea.
grind like PvE?
100%.
I think that that type of equipment you really shouldn't be able to just buy and keep forever. I really like the idea of, powerful items being something that you have to play to get.
Yep.
And I also like the idea of powerful items carrying inverse risk reward. So
Yeah.
when I talk about that, I mean like I've
Mhm.
played a lot of games like Rust. You're going out farming. Are you going to roam the L96? Probably not,
No.
right? It doesn't make much sense, right? So are you going to be just flying around carrying top tier missiles with you? No, probably not, And I think that would make combat have such a more
Oh
more
yeah, that's a
depth
good
and a much
point.
more varied feel if like
Mhm.
I show up to a fight and it's another PvP group. I know every single one of those motherfuckers have task forces on their ship. I know that they have high tier weapons. I know how to play that matchup, and I grind only that matchup, right? It'd be really awesome to see the economy bringing in depth and having these high tier weapons, having inverse risk reward where you're risking a lot to gain a small advantage, right?
Yep.
For the top end equipment, and that would add a lot more depth to engagements. And I think that's the direction that they're going with the torpedoes being so expensive is
Mhm.
they are supposed to have a weapon system that has an inverse risk reward.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that. Like, my daily driver, ship, that I use the most may have like lower tiered missiles until I know that, and then I'll have like stocked back at my base or whatever, the higher tiered stuff when I know we're getting into like a certain engagement, maybe we're going to attack somebody's fleet or base or whatever it may be, and that's when I would want to take them out in those situations only, or something too would be cool. Like that's something you would consider, right? um
Yeah.
yeah, I
Imagine
like that.
Jumptown being worth it again, Like
Mhm.
imagine
Yeah,
Yeah.
having
no
a
kidding.
resource that you actually need and you got people you're fighting, you're going to put your dancing shoes on. You're going to have task
Exactly.
forces, you're going to have your best shit on because you want those
You want to win
resources.
that fight. Yeah.
And this makes the
Yeah.
game so much more interesting. The fact that we can sit
It
here
brings
and
so much
discuss this,
depth.
it really does. Like it's depth that's needed. Like I'm sorry to the people who are like crying that it's not going to be super easy and I could just jump in and get what I want immediately. That was never an intention for this game. Like you could tell, it's never been an intention for this
It
game.
would
Like
get stale.
it would
It
get stale
would,
fast.
which
Exactly.
it
It would.
already has to
It would
some
have a
degree.
Look at how
If you
crazy.
think
fast
about
it
it.
gets
It is
stale.
stale.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is
Exactly. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
wanna shoot down enemy fighters and think to myself, I should scan their ship and see did they have the good stuff with them? Like, you kill a player in Tarkov. Do you ever not just I'm not gonna go check them, like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
if you're super rich, maybe, but part of the thrill of those games that I really enjoy is checking them out and being like, oh my God, this guy was loaded. Like
That's
I
the
could
risk
use
versus
this
reward.
stuff
Yeah.
to, yeah, exactly. I could use this stuff, and I'm going on a mission that I really want to succeed in. You know, that's there
Mhm.
for me, all right?
Yeah.
And that adds value to the engagements beyond, like right now, it's just a total crapshoot of no one cares about anything. We're just fighting for ego and
It's
rep,
been
or
like that for
just
too
for the
long.
fun of it. And it's been like that forever. I'd
Yeah.
love it to be in a place where you shoot down a fighter and you're taking their stuff, you know, and if you have logistical players that they're hanging out waiting to get the scraps because the scraps are actually worth it.
Well,
Right
you made
now, if you have a vulture scraping up ships that you kill in PvP, you're role playing. Like,
100%.
there's
Yeah.
no reason.
Yep.
It's so
that's
inefficient.
true. Yeah.
It's like if you're
you know,
playing FPS, you're role playing.
you mentioned
Yeah.
something though, Cold Kill, about like scanning a ship to know what they have on board and whatnot. And what that does also is it creates a role. Like it creates a role for like either a stealth or scanner type ship that's going to go in just to collect the intel to tell the rest of the group what you're running into. Right? What can we
Yeah.
get out of this?
Like a
So-
tracker or terrapin that doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
You'll be scanning
That
with a
type of-
saber basically because it's the only thing that can get close enough probably.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Do you
it'd be
guys
nice to
also-
have flushed out systems for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that they could also make it so the variants of different missiles actually have like specific roles?
Oh
So, like,
yeah,
you
where's
wouldn't
our
use, like,
EMP missiles? Damn it!
Exactly. You know,
Different
just stuff
roles
like
on
that.
them for sure. Like gameplay wise, you know, the price adjustments is only one step. I like the price adjustments, but
Hmm.
I do think that the weapon systems themselves are brain dead, and they really
Yeah.
should have more to them. Like you should have missiles that are good at taking down people trying to nav away. You should have missiles that maybe are better in atmosphere or better in space, you know, and that
Mhm.
just adds more depth
100%.
to people's loadouts. Like I don't think we've ever had a patch where someone has a mixed missile loadout because it makes sense. No, everyone just spams the smallest EM missiles they can find, and it's been like that for 4 years.
It's been like
Yeah.
that for sure for a long time. Exactly. It's literally just like I remember coming into the game and be like, what missile should I put? Should I mix it with this and this? And they're like, everyone was just like, no, just put EMP size 1. So you have a ton of size 1 missiles. You know what I mean? There was like no thought behind anything realistically, right? And we have been
Yeah.
seeing recently in general, and this is outside of missiles, but I think this is being added to missiles where now there's actual like there's some actual thought coming into putting together your ship for what you're going to use it for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
some.
thought coming to the guns right now. Like you don't use attritions in a dogfight. But if you're a pirate and you're there to kill the C2, strip its shields, yeah, you'll put attritions on your F8.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
want to see that depth also in the missiles, the ballistics, you know, and some of them need to be completely reworked. Like the one size fits all system right now, it's not that good.
It's been terrible for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see it. It's that
Do you
for
guys
them to
think it'd
stop.
also help if they reduce the maximum like salvos from the 4 to like maybe 2 maximum? So it's not just like one salvo, like reduce the like maybe increase the cooldown time on like how long it takes to load each missile. I don't know. I'm just trying to think.
I think that if you're going to pay money, like, and if we're going to keep high costs, I mean, spam them all. Go right
Just
ahead,
keep
right?
it.
Yeah.
Just keep it. Yeah.
I think
Yep, I
that you
gotcha.
should be able to fire your every missile you got. Like
All
fire
at
everything.
once?
Like an anime, man.
Yeah,
All at
yeah.
once. That'd be
You
insane.
paid for them, you know. If you're gonna use them like that, you better have a really good reason.
I'm just imagining like the one scene from 300 with the like the arrows
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
from the sky, you know? Yeah.
I mean, you
Um,
used to be able to do that. You used to be
Yeah.
able to fire all of the missiles from
I know,
every
this
rack
is when
at
you know
once.
somebody's been playing for a little while when they start saying that. Well, he used to be able to.
Yeah, it's
There's
almost like too,
actually-
if you think about the arguments that they were saying, and I know I'm shifting gears here a little bit. It's like, oh man, you know, I lose everything. It sucks. It shouldn't be. And have you ever cargo traded, man? You 30K'd and it was millions gone. It was it was it. It's just like, well, okay, I guess
It's just
okay.
another gameplay loop where you're sacrificing for the sake of maybe having some profit.
And I
you
mean,
know.
30Ks used to happen every like 3 hours, man. It was
Oh,
or
yeah.
even
Yeah.
less.
Yeah,
remember that.
Yeah, before recovery. I mean,
Okay.
it is nice it's working. Go ahead.
Do you guys want to take some questions from the chat? I have one so far, and if you guys are open to like taking callers, we could do that too. So just a
I'm
reminder.
open to it.
Yeah, if anybody hasn't already joined the Discord, here's a link for that if you want to like ask any questions. I actually have one from 86. Omni asks, do you think we are going to see larger missiles being used over smaller missiles on the
No.
field?
Not yet, no.
No,
I don't
not
think so
there's
either.
no reason to. If CIG like gave a balancing pass to where size 1 EM missile wasn't king, yeah, we
Mhm.
would, you know. But as of right now, there's no reason to use anything else.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Agreed.
Well, that was quick.
Here, I got a question. Okay, so
What's your question?
a
What's the
size
question?
1 is 2.7K. Let's use it as a base mark. What do you think it should cost?
Mhm.
I mean,
Um,
I wouldn't be opposed to it costing more.
Can we go back to the main panel?
I
think we're
feel
done.
like
I think they should cost more, but I also think that the effectiveness should go up. I would really like it to where missiles are pretty strong, pretty effective, and using them is you're taking a loss. Like
yeah.
you're taking a
Yeah.
loss resource wise to shortcut the fight.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that's a good idea. The other thing they could do too is make like, you know, $1,000 missile, a $2,000 missile, and like a $10,000 missile, and the $10,000 one is like, you know, that thing's about to fuck someone up. You know.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
PvP missile. Yeah.
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 Well, I guess it
I
makes sense
think
too.
that's a good spot too.
So a lot of the missions aren't going to pay out a whole lot anyway, right? So I guess, and when you kind of look comparing that to the like cost of the missiles, it makes sense, right? I'm thinking like 2.7K. That's not even that much. I first of all don't use a whole lot of missiles to begin with, although I do use them more now since Master Moves and somebody tries to nav out, right? But on top of that, I've never had to really worry about money anyway because, you know, so I guess I don't really have any real knowledge in it. I don't. You have to put it in practice to really know what's happening, right? So
Yeah.
we got to see how it is in practice, and then I'm sure CAG is going to come and make some adjustments in like 3 years.
So buggy events are endgame. I'm just reading some of the chat here. These guys have had a little bit of a conversation here. No, you're good. You're good. You can get off from that. I don't want to read that anymore. I'm kind of burnt out on it. It's exhausting, you know. So with that being said, question here. Do you think you will still play the game when they announce PvP flagging for 1.0?
What? What
Are
You
PvP
can
is
flag
flag?
these.
What does that mean? Are you talking about like kill on site lists?
I think he's talking about PvP sliders.
I think sliders.
Is there
Oh,
going to be sliders for 1.0?
there shouldn't be sliders.
No, I don't think that was
unless
ever an
they've announced
intention.
something, then yeah, I don't think so. Raise your PvP flags.
flag.
I
Yeah.
don't have a flag up right now. Sorry. With that being
I
said,
mean,
guys, I think
Hold on. What the hell?
I think
I'm still commenting on it.
you're commenting. You're commenting. Okay.
Are you
What
ending?
got?
Are you ending the?
No,
the-
I was gonna.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what were you gonna say? Don't go to Pyro.
Well,
Don't go to
No,
Pyro.
I was gonna say I think that if they ever did something like that. Oh, okay. So we had talked about this in kind of you know, quite to an extent at one point, about the way that they create sort of like PvP flags or whatever would be by
Mhm.
having high sec, right, high security systems or low security systems, and I think that's basically how you have that PvP slider. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense to have a PvP slider because a thing like pirating the economy wouldn't work because everybody who doesn't want to get pirated is going to have their PvP slider.
I'd just turn it off, and I could fly my raft and be fine for the rest of the night. Don't have to worry about. Oh, I get interdicted. I've got my slider off. You can't touch me. Sorry, buddy.
Can't
It
touch me,
just doesn't
yeah.
make any sense for MMO
No.
gameplay.
For the
That's
game
not
that
how
they're,
works.
especially the game that they're building here, where
The one that they're
pirating and
proposing,
stuff
yeah.
is supposed to actually play into the economy. So that's nonsense.
They
Well, I
also
mean,
said it
look
wouldn't
at
be an
4.0, man.
MMORPG.
Like, look at 4.0. Like, if you go to Pyro, right, which is high risk, or at least apparently it's supposed to be, you look at the chat logs, like, oh, why'd you kill me? I had nothing. Bro, it's Pyro. Like,
First time.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, one day you won't have nothing. One day you'll have guns and components, maybe missiles on your ship, and people will just take it.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's gonna be wonderful.
I just want to
They
read
always
this.
have Nikes, man. You just take their Nikes.
Danger Kidda. Is that what it says? Kitten or is that Kidda? Missiles need to be more skill based. I think Nolat and Cold Kill both mentioned this. They can't just be I win button.
The set and forget
Well,
button just doesn't
yeah. LC
for
Oz
that kind of, like,
with
gameplay.
10,000 players will use them for excuse me, I'm losing it in this slider here. We'll lose them to brute force their way to beating more organized, higher skilled. Yeah, that's true. I agree.
No,
To an extent.
10,000 players they're just stuck in the hangar trying to get their ships out and they can't. Like,
No.
they're the
I'm
most
saying
unorganized players ever.
No. I'm saying I agree with the fact that missiles can't be an instant like win button. Like there should be some form of like, yeah, I don't know. I guess I can't.
I agree with you.
Involvement.
They shouldn't be an instant win button, but just like with anything, I don't think that you should discount numbers so much. If you got 10 people and they bring 100 people spamming missiles at you, you should lose that area. You should be forced out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You
I mean,
shouldn't
which makes
just
sense.
and that's just like, is the volume. That's just, we've seen it with master modes already, where taking on groups is pretty rough. It's pretty difficult. Even if you're a really cracked pilot, you're gonna get fucked up.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, yeah, I think that. All right, let's see. I'm good. I don't know what you want to. Yeah,
I was gonna say, like, this sounds like a conversation for next time. I want to talk about the PvP slider stuff another time, because I actually have a topic in mind for that. That'll be in like maybe a couple of weeks here. We'll kind of discuss that at a later time. With that being said, Nolat, Cold Kill, thanks for joining tonight. You guys are awesome. You have really good like insight on the whole like conversation, so I appreciate your time, guys. And
anytime.
Then, if there's someone that you guys think we should go rate tonight, preferably someone from like a PvP background or in the StarCitizen category, just shout it out into the chat and we'll take a look at it. And then just a reminder that tonight's episode will be on YouTube this coming Tuesday, so please subscribe and check it out. Let me do that really quick before I forget to like type it in there. And then we're actually just a few away from 500 subs on the channel, so if you guys want to help us out there, and we're very close to getting like partner on that channel, so we just appreciate
YouTube,
the support.
yeah.
On YouTube, yeah. So just again, appreciate everybody coming out and giving us support. You guys have a great night, and just remember that PvP is griefing.
Oh, is that okay? Sweet, yes. PvP is griefing. Have a good night, guys.